about something that he says is completely untrue.
Out front now, the former Trump White House lawyer Ty Cobb. And Ty, we've talked so much about all of the legal troubles, the possible indictments that the former president may be facing. But as you see Trump and his lawyer there, Joe Tacopina, ramping up their public attacks on this specific case, where do you think we are? Do you think an indictment is imminent for Donald Trump here?
I do think an indictment is imminent based on the recent reporting and the grand jury activity. I'm not sure this is the best case to lead with. I'm not sure it'll have that great an impact on him. But yes, I do hear the president and Joe talking about the president as the alleged victim here, and that's Trump at his best.
Obviously he didn't testify before the grand jury. If indicted, he will have to appear in court. But do you think that was the right thing to do for him not to appear before this grand jury?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, any first-year law student, your criminal practice would advise the president not to show up in front of a grand jury, particularly in a case where the proof problems that the prosecution has, they're not overwhelming, but there are problems in terms of how this case will be presented to a jury.
So just to be clear, none of this is deterring Trump from running for re-election. And in fact, if anything, Ty, it seems to be encouraging him, right? I mean, if he gets back in office, he would be immune to anything if any of these indictments, end up with convictions. Here's what he said in Iowa last night.
We stand up to the crooked Democrat prosecutors all over the country. If I fly over a state that happens to be Democrat, let's call them into a grand jury. Nobody's ever weaponized like this group of people. They're maniacs.
All right, you know him well. You know how he handles these sorts of, situations. Do you think that there's anything that would stop him from running legally? And I guess also separate from that, Ty, does this actually give him oxygen?
So those are good questions. I will say that tape cut is sort of right out of the DSM-4 on narcissism. I'm not, and we'll hear a lot of that if he is charged. I don't believe that this case or even the Georgia case, however that turns out, whether charges are brought, whether they include him, will deter him from his run, and I'm not sure either would have a lot of impact as the consequences, certainly of the New York case, while a little bit hard to estimate, don't appear to be very serious, and I think it's highly unlikely, he could go to jail in connection with the contemplated charges in New York. I do think that when the federal government comes forward with what I believe will be an indictment over the obstruction of the January 6th proceeding involving Vice President Pence and quite likely defrauding the United States charge as well. Mm-hmm. I do think that will have political consequences for him. It'll freeze his donors. There are many passionate supporters out there. Right. And many people that are willing to ride with him for a while. But, at that point, he'll be asking for so much money that there'll be a lot of checks and balances on the donor side that I think will, halt his ability to raise funds.
All right. Well, Ty Cobb, thank you very much. And that's interesting, as you point out, right, that the political implications of this could come from that as opposed to this Stormy Daniels, obviously very likely indictment at this point. Hey. All right. Thank you so much.